Nakhmanson, and I'm actually really excited to share with you a game that I just played. This
The
is my
most
first
aggressive
time
Gambit
playing this
you've
amazing aggressive
never
Gambit
heard of.
that I'm sure none of you have ever heard of. It's the Nakhmanson Gambit. So this is a really aggressive weapon, and I want to give you a little bit of the history. I was actually just last night preparing this just a little bit, taking a glance with a computer, and seeing if this was a playable way of continuing, and it would actually solve a lot of my repertoire choices. So let's go ahead and have a look at what we're talking about here. So after move e4, e5,
Oh, I like e4.
bishop to c4, this is my preferred move order, but you can get this if you have the Italian in your repertoire, if you have the Scotch Gambit in your repertoire, d4, they're going to take, I'm going to play knight f3, and we're hoping Black takes here and accepts this gambit, and I get to play an Ursov. However, one of the problems with the Ursov gambit, if there's any complaint I ever hear about it, it's that people won't accept it. So the biggest problem is you're not going to get too many people to take that e-pawn. And what they're really going to do in real life is they're going to play knight to c6. And this will transpose to what we are trying to do today. In my game, after bishop to c4, knight to c6 was played right away, and after knight f3, brought the knight out to f6. So we've transposed to an Italian game where you would expect people to decide between the moves d3 and the aggressive knight to g5. But there is actually a third move here, and that's the one that I actually like playing, and that's the move d4. So just challenging that center and asking Black to solve a lot of problems right there in the middle of the board right away. In this line, the main continuation is to play e5, and I'm just going to run through a sample continuation. This is just the main line, so you guys can get an idea of what is happening here. And there's definitely nothing wrong with this, but in my experience, everybody seems to know the theory here, and there's a couple different sidelines. You can do a couple things along the way, but you're probably going to get a position like this, where eventually both sides will get castled here. Black has the two bishops and a slightly worse pawn structure. White has some ideas of attacking on the king side. This is fine. There's definitely nothing wrong with this. However, when I play e4, I'm trying to get a swashbuckling opening. I'm trying to sack pieces. I'm trying to gambit. I'm trying to have a little bit more fun than this. And while this is fine in my personal experience, I just haven't done too well with it. So I am personally looking for something a little bit different. So we return here, and after d4, again, after they take another alternative, we're going to come back to castles, which is what I played in the game. There's knight to g5. The problem with knight to g5 is both of these moves seem pretty good for Black. So one of the possible remedies to my own personal repertoire issue here would be this move, but it appears that d5 and knight to e5 are both really good for Black, and I don't think the moves are actually that hard. I've had a look through, I've gone through them. You're welcome to play around with this. This is another interesting gambit if you want to go this direction. But it's just not for me. I think it's too easy for Black.
Yeah, then tell me what is for you.
Position in that line. And that's why it's led me back to, after d4, taking on d4, castling. So I think this is the best bet, the best way to go. And the main continuation is knight takes e4. And this is our starting position here. I will just mention everybody. I mean, look at this. Everybody will play rook to e1, but not me. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. What I played in this game is hopefully going to surprise you. But the main line is d5. And you get to do this very clever trick where you take with the bishop on d5, play knight to c3, and let Black figure out slowly that everything's pinned, so they have to move their queen away. They can't take your knight or anything. And you get this back, and here's kind of the main line. And again, this just seems fine for Black. A position like this, which obviously this isn't the only way of continuing, but something like this does strike me as perfectly acceptable for Black. So this isn't the permanent solution to my problem. So let's real quick start at the very top and watch this game to completion, and we'll jump back into the theory. So what is the Nakhmanson Gambit? Well, in this position, knight to c3, if you can believe it. I'm giving up a whole knight, and as you can tell, looking at this data...
You're giving up the knight to move a pawn so that you can move your queen here and threaten mate and threatening winning the bishop, the knight back, or you get the knight back regardless, unless nope, you can't move the knight because then it's mate. Interesting. You cannot move it here because you take with this one and this one.
Base. Not a lot of people have ever gone for this, so I think this could be a very deadly weapon.
Oh.
What is this? Knight to c3. We'll come back and look at some theory here.
All
but in
right.
the game, my opponent obviously took.
Well, technically you could move it back
Bishop
here.
takes f7. So this is everything I'm looking for in the Gambit. We're sacking a couple pieces, and we're going to get a fun attack. And I think in practice, here's my game. I am playing a 24-57 rated player, so a very, very strong player. If it works on this level, I'm pretty sure it's going to work anywhere. And I think you're going to catch a lot of people sleeping because we're down to 2 games in the database. Nobody's done this. Nobody knows about it. And it seems okay. Maybe it's a little shaky. We'll jump into the theory later. But just watch how easy it is to play this position. Queen to d5. And I looked at the move king to e8 last night. There's no problems for white there. I think there is a move that could theoretically, for a supercomputer, be a problem. We'll take a look and see if you think anybody would play the very, very brave move that Stockfish wants. But then there's also the game, which is king to e7. So, yeah, this move took me by surprise. I didn't see that one. And yeah, the king is stuck in the middle. So I actually probably could have won super immediately. Instead, in the game, I played rook to e1 because that is...
You rather do this first. Check, take, rook. And that's mate, I think. You can block with this horse, but after rook takes, it's mate. Pin the knight first. No, you want to bait. You check here. You check with this. Ne6 defense. What is Ne6? Knight E6. No, you cannot do it because the queen just takes. Oh, sorry, the tower just pushes up. This doesn't help. I just said. King returns to f6. f6? No, the queen is here. Queen is here. You cannot return there. You take, look, from this position, he says you move here. But I say, you move your bishop here, you check. The only way to prevent it is taking or moving back your king. But then he loses a queen. So he has to take here, right? Knight takes bishop. You play rook here, check. He can play this. He can go here. And then queen goes here. Check. And then you can go here, or you can go here, or you can go here. Alright, whatever. Just show it.
Back to e8. So I just played rook to e1. Even stronger would have been taking with the queen. So if I take with my queen here, then black is just insta-toast. After here, the point is knight g5. You can see this is just simply not going to work out for the black king. You already have to give up the queen. I mean, running around this is going to be a main one. And, you know, running around is not going to help you very much. Something like this, queen d4. You can see how this is going to lead to a very fast checkmate. And this also, I like it. I'm going to show you just because it's funny. g4, the most accurate move, threatening a mate here. And then after some moves, eventually this discover check and quick mate and follow up here. So it's nice and pretty, so I'll put it on the board. Hopefully you guys can get that one over the board. Something like that would be fantastic.
Oh, that's interesting.
Instead, during the game, and we can keep the engine running here, says this is fine. You can even see it says king to e8 is the best move. We'll come back. I don't think you can trust the Lichess engines on this particular depth. I had to run it on a much stronger computer, which I'm running some of it over here right now. After the king goes back, takes, and the point is he's in a lot of trouble. It's so easy to play white. You bring this bishop out to g5, you bring the other rook into e1, and you're just going to attack the king. In this game, he tried king to f8. I think that's really all you can do. After rook to e1, he took my pawn. Here, I toyed a little bit. I couldn't quite hit upon the main idea, but the winning move here is after some capture, rook to f4. And he's toast. The only way out of here to go here is going to be mate 1. You have to give up your knight. You're also I'm gonna take your knight, and then you're gonna get mated really fast after that. So a very, very nice, clean, easy win. 16 moves. This went really, really well.
All right.
So
interesting. All these sacrifices for I guess these are good for like the Blitz 3.0, like assuming it's sudden death, right? But this is not something you would want to play really.
You can play knight to c3. So
in a
if you're a Scotch player,
plus
you can also
5
go
game.
like this and achieve the position this way by playing a Scotch Gambit. Any way you want to get there after they take.
Alright. Yeah, it seems a little bit too aggressive by me, honestly. A little bit aggressive. Mslav 69 months, Janago 66 months, Losior Saver 63 months, and Ronald Denko, thank you boys. Parnabas Jackson donates hello for check out Jerome Gambit by GM Aman Hambleton. We just saw Jerome Gambit. Enough with the Gambits, alright. Don't worry about me, chat. We're fine. I'll play a couple of games. All right. Off the stream, yeah. All right. So.